Now I will show you how you can perform firmware update of your configuration in SICAM Device Manager. Basically, regular firmware updates are being released for our SICAM A8000 family, typically 4 times a year. Through firmware updates, errors are corrected and new features are released for your configuration. So if you require a new feature that was not available before but is available with a new version, or if there are some errors that have been detected, you can easily update your configuration. So where you can find the new firmware versions? You can find them easily through the Siemens CEOS portal, Siemens Industry Online Support. Basically, you can navigate through Google, for example, you can look for Siemens CEOS, and then you find here Siemens Industry Online Support. It is important when you are there that you log in. Normally, if you don't have a username, you must register first. This is a regular process. You just need to provide your information, your email address, the company where you work from, and your country, for example. And then after a couple of days maximum, you should have your account enabled. Once you do that, then you can log in. Once you are logged in the system, then you will be able to download information from the Siemens Industry Online portal. You can now look through this filter. You can write text to find what you want. For example, CP8022 firmware, and just start the search. The system will first give you the results and sorted according to relevance. If you are trying to look for the latest available version of the firmware, it makes sense maybe to change this sorting method to date descending. Then you need to locate where the SICAM A8000 CP802122 package, the last one that is available. For example, the package includes all the firmware for this version. You click there. Then you are in a page like this one. There you can just scroll down and look for the SICAM web update. This is a link to download the firmware. You click there and then it would be downloaded in your browser. Somewhere, maybe download a folder, or maybe you can configure your browser to point so you can tell it where it will be downloaded. It is normally a zip file. This zip file you should extract somewhere in your computer. It includes a lot of bin files, which is actually the firmware that you need to include in SICAM Device Manager. Now we can go to SICAM Device Manager. In SICAM Device Manager, you will get here with the hamburger button the possibility to go to firmware. Then you get this window where you can see all the existing firmware in the RTU. You can have several different versions of firmware. It is showing you normally the latest one, but if you mark this show all version, then it will show you also old ones. With this button here, the box with the arrow going in, you can import new firmware in Device Manager. When you click there, you can just select the location where you stored, where you extracted the bin files, and then you will see the list here. Then you must select one by one. You select the first, you can see it, it's generated there. Second, and you mark all of them. Then they are all ready to be imported. Once this is done, you confirm, and it will start importing one after the other until it is done. This means all this firmware is now available in Device Manager. So this was the first step. Additional information, when you just confirm you are back in the firmware page, you will see that for every firmware that is there is a column saying release. If you click for the corresponding firmware on this node, you can see what is new, what is, which features have been corrected from previous versions, which new features are provided in this new version. This is important to be checked. It also provides information about what to consider if you are updating. Maybe the new version is only compatible with older versions of other elements. You need to consider all of this when you are importing, when you are updating the firmware of one configuration. If you decide that the firmware must be updated, then you go to SICAM Device Manager. Again, you go to the RTU, to, for example, hardware and protocols. And you can see there, in this example, we had central processing firmware for the CP8022, the version 1510. But you can click here, and you can see that we have now the version 16. We can just select it here. SICAM Web, we had also 530, but now we have version 540. For the input and outputs, also we had version 8, now we have version 9. Modbus, we had version, we have 3, and now we have 640. And you can do it for each one that you want to upgrade. You change that and you need to save the configuration. And now you proceed to upload the configuration in the RTU. And with this, the firmware in the RTU would be upgraded to the version that you wanted. With this part, we finished the basic configuration of a SICAM A8000 RTU, or one of the small ones with SICAM Device Manager. And in the next modules, we will learn how we can handle the local user administration in our SICAM A8000 RTUs.